Yo, yo, what is up, YouTube? It's Junkie, and I'm back for a life update, health update, collecting update, and my 2024 list is done. So you guys know I posted that I was going to take a break from YouTube and Instagram and making videos and stuff. Just because I needed to get my mental health in line, and struggling with a little bit, and some personal stuff going on. Nothing serious, nothing bad. Just I've always struggled with like depression, and just recently started getting my anxiety started getting bad, and my OCD has been overwhelmed with this collection. So, which brings me to an update on what I've decided to do with collecting, and which will lead into my 2024 one list. So I've decided that I did find and I want to say thank you to everybody that's responded or commented or reached out to me about how I'm doing. I'm good. I don't, nothing bad. Just, I have depression, and I just sometimes I get really strong bouts, and I try to fight it with no medication, so just doing it all on my own. And sometimes it's tough. So, but I'm good, and I'm on the right track, and I'm just, this collection, just looking at the mere vastness of this collection. Over 46,000 books. And it's just not comics, it's action figures, it's just everything. This room it's not a real big room, it's an average sized bedroom. And I have all these comics stuffed in here. And if you guys have seen my videos or followed my channel, 6-7 years ago my collection was about half, maybe a third this size. So it was real manageable. I had a lot of room, and everything was nice and neat and organized. And now it's not organized. It's not. And no matter what I do, no matter how I sit here and try to plot out how to organize this room, it's just not going to be good enough. Which led me to one night, I was just sitting there and I'm like, what can I do? People are like, well, sell, and give books away, and take them to a library, or take them to, whatever, and find somebody that collects comics, and, give them some books, and those are all great ideas, and those all work for, people, until I can actually bring myself to get rid of these books. I had to come up with a solution. And the solution was, and I'm going forward with it, I'm going to wait till probably after the holidays, once Christmas is done. I'm going to take a vacation probably the beginning of next year, and I'm going to get me a storage unit. That's right, guys. I am going to put a bulk of my collection in a storage unit. I found one probably 3 or 4 blocks away from my house. It's brand new, just built within the past few years. Climate controlled. They have a 10x8 for 64 and a 10x10 for 74. I think I'm probably going to go with a 10x8. Which would be enough. What my goal is to put my DC books in storage. Now, I'm not going to put any keys in there. You're just going to be just some of my DC runs, and my average DC books. I'm gonna keep all the keys here in my main room, but my goal is to get my DC books in there, and probably my indie books. Now, I don't know how many comics I can stuff in there. I'm not gonna just pack this storage unit from floor to ceiling with just boxes. I want it to be somewhat organized so I can go there on my days off, or if I get off work early, I can swing in there and kind of like do some more organizing. But the main thing is to keep my main part of my collection, my most favorite part of my collection is my Marvel collection, and mainly my X-Men books. So that's what I want to have in the house, that I can come up here late at night. I don't have to go to a storage unit where they're closed. So that's why I figured I would put my DC books and most of my indie books in there, as long as I can keep it organized. That's the main key, is keeping the storage unit organized too. And I think $64 is real cheap for anywhere, and I have to get insurance. I think insurance is like $10. So let's say $75 a month. I think is real cheap for keeping my sanity, for one, and getting control of the collection and really going through and focusing on what I really want. Give myself what the storage unit is going to do. It's going to give me time to really think about what I want to do. Do I want to keep my DC books, or do I want to get rid of them? And this is a good way for me to kind of get them out of here, so that way I can have a clear head when I go to make decisions like that. I don't want to make a rash decision and say, fuck it, I'm going to sell all my DC books. I know I'm not going to get shit for them, and I understand that, and I've come to terms with that I'm not going to get top dollar for my collection, for my DC books or whatever. I would prefer, instead of selling them to a shop, I would prefer to sell them to somebody that is a collector, that will keep them and not looking to flip. That way I can get the most out of it than a shop that's just going to say, well, I'm just going to put these all in a dollar bin and I'll give you $0.25 a piece. It's not what I want to do. I really do love all my books in my collection, but it really is just overwhelming. It's very overwhelming to me right now. And I think the best bet for me is to rent a storage unit and put in a good portion of these books in the storage unit, and that way I can have my room back to somewhat of a manageable space. I've shown you guys this before. You guys know. You've seen the room. I mean, it is... My closet is officially packed. You know what I mean? And it's just stuffed full of comics. And it's just stuffed. There's just no more room. Which led to me to that decision, is to get a storage unit. And I figure a 10 by 8 is a pretty good size, and it gives me at least enough room to get at least all these DC books. The DC books in my collection is probably I don't know, a quarter, maybe over a quarter of my collection, and the indies is probably another quarter. So if I could get half of these books out, and that way I could lay books out on the floor and organize, because these long boxes, I have 34 long boxes, and they are not organized, not even a little bit. They are mixed with anything and everything, and this would give me an opportunity to get my books back in order again. So I figured I'd take a vacation in January, get my storage unit, and take 10 to 12 boxes a day down there and just stack them in there, and go by what the labels say, and anything that's DC related or indie related, I would just take it down there, make maybe a few trips a day. It's literally like maybe 2 miles, 2.5, 3 miles away from my house, so it's relatively real short distance. And then that way I could spend the rest of my vacation kind of starting to get this room organized, and that's my main objective. So when it comes to my 2024 list, I have got it down already. Most people do a top 10 or a top 5 or a top 20, whatever you want the 2024 list to be. And most people from my experience have put big boy books on there, like, hey, I want a giant size X-Men, I want a FF40, whatever, Galactus first appearance, Silver Surfer first appearance, stuff like that. What I did here is essentially, I made my 2024 comic book want list is to be my Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. I want to complete it. And I only need, and I say only, but I only need 65 issues to complete that run. Out of 544, which I think is pretty damn good. But unfortunately for me, as you can see to this list, the books left on this list, I would say at least 5 or 6 of them are probably going to be unattainable. I find it hard for myself to pay big money for a big book. But we'll see. If I could save, if I could, I don't even want to say sell. I'm going to try to sell comics, but I hate eBay. eBay, you lose half your shit. In a comic book store, you're not going to get what you think your comics are worth. This comic here, to me, is worth $10, $15. To a comic shop, it's worth $0.25. So, that's the hard part for me. It's coming to terms with what I will get for my collection compared to what my expectations are. So yeah, my 2024 list. This here are the remaining X-Men books I need for my Uncanny X-Men run. It's 65 issues, and they're all Silver Bronze Age books. Which leads me to my buying habits here forward with the flea market and stuff like that. What I'm going to try, and I stress try to do, is to focus mainly on the X titles, mainly these books here. Completing, I think I need a few books for my X Factor run, and a few runs here and there that I need some issues for. So my thing with the flea market is no, I'm not going to go buy a long box every week like I was doing for a while. Even though it's very tempting, because sometimes he'll get in a good collection, and there's some really good books, but I have to remain focused, and I'm going to try to focus just mainly on X-Men books and minor keys for X-Men. So if I already have it, and it's a minor key, and I find it in Dollar Mint, I'm going to pick it up. So that's my one thing, is if it's a minor key, whether it's DC or Marvel, but mainly Marvel and X-Men, I'm going to pick them up. Because, I mean, under $1, how do you not? How do you not pick up a minor key and just to add value to my collection? And a lot of times, when you see me buy multiple copies, I don't buy multiple copies to flip. I buy multiple copies that I think have potential to be worth a little bit more than what I paid, aka $1, 75 cents, 40 cents, whatever it is, to add value to my collection. My main goal is to add value to this collection. So when I do go to, because eventually, like I said, at some point, I'm 52. It's almost 2024. That means I'm almost 53. Many of you guys do know or don't know, my father passed when he was 52. So when I was a kid, that was an age that stuck in my head all my life. All my entire childhood, teen, adulthood life, is that number stuck in my head. My dad was very fit. My dad was very healthy. Now, he did smoke, but he wasn't overweight. I got that overweight gene unfortunately from my mom. But my dad was very fit, and he had a brain aneurysm in the middle of the night, went into coma, and basically we had to pull the plugs on the machine. I was only 13 years old. So from 13 to 52, that number stuck in my head. And I thought for sure my mortality would end in that year. And I'm still in that year. I just turned 52 September. So I don't foresee myself being around a lot longer. I mean, who knows? I could live to be 100, but I could live to be 54. Who knows? But so when I hit 52, that's really when the stress of all this really started to compile. And that's why I've come to the decision of a storage unit to kind of ease my visual, the visual aspect of my collection. I think that's what's really getting me. It's not really the number that's getting me. It's really just the visual aspect of my collection. So I think if I get another unit, if I get a unit and I could put in half of this collection in there and store it away, I think that will help me ease my anxiety over this collection. And that is the main goal of the storage unit. And the main goal of me really, instead of putting a bunch of different runs on here or a bunch of big books, which would be nice to have, but you know, I'm just the average blue collar worker, man. I make an average salary. I'm not loaded. I'm not family rich. I'm not anything like that. I have a decent amount of my 401k, but that, you know, that's 401k, and that's for retirement. So going out spending $400 or $500 for a big key book, and I know people are gonna say in the comments, and I appreciate it and I understand. Well, shit, sell off the books you don't read and buy that big key book, and that's a great idea. But I don't know. I can't bring myself to seeing myself, even if I did sell books, having, you know, if I sold my part of my collection for $10,000, let's just say hypothetically, just spending that on a comic. I can't. I'll never be able to see myself doing that, spending that much money on one book and being okay with it. It would, I don't see myself doing that. That's why I know issue number 1 is forever going to be out of reach, unless somewhere I find it in a dollar bin in a barn in Kentucky somewhere. But this is, most of this list is obtainable. You know what I mean? Most of this list is under 100, maybe 110, which I could see if I'm not going to the flea market and spending $60, $70 a week, and I save up for a week or two and buy one of these books, I can see that. As for my collecting, like I said, I'm going to really focus on my X-Men titles, all X-Men titles, not just this one. I'm going to focus on all of them. That's always been my main goal. That's always been my main peak interest in comics, has always been the X-Men, especially Wolverine, which got this beauty here, just sitting here looking at me, so that's nice. So that's that. As for, I'm getting a storage unit, hopefully the beginning of the year, or end of this year, and start loading it the beginning of the year, when I can take a vacation and have 10 days off, and I can take, if I take 20 boxes a day, I can clear out half this room in a few days. So, I don't want to rent a truck. I want to load them in my car, drive them down there, organize them real nice, labels facing out, and be able to get in there and kind of look. I was talking to my LCS owner today when I went and picked up my books, and he has a storage unit, and he's having a big blowout sale. I'm like, of course you are. When I'm trying to cut back, you're telling me about some big blowout sale you're going to have. But he's got a storage unit. He says, hey, just make sure you keep a path in the middle, so that way you can get to them and not just, stack them floor to ceiling from back to front, and that way you don't know what you have in the back. It's kind of all. So I'm going to have some kind of, and I'll do videos of it and show you guys how I got it in there. But that's it. This tag, and this can be my 2024 want list video. I probably won't make any more videos here, maybe for the next, probably the rest of the year. If I do, if I feel mentally up to doing it, I know I wanted to take a break, but if I mentally, because it's relaxing to me, is showing comics. I love comics. I love collecting comics. I love showing comics. I love collecting runs. I'm a dollar bin run collector. I'm not a big key issue guy. I do have a lot of key issues, but it's not my main focus of my collection. I'm just an average blue collar guy with some mental health issues, and I have an enormous collection that's getting the best of me, and I just like collecting dollar books and collecting runs. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. So this tag is open to anybody that wants to participate. I know the old school days of YouTube, we did this shit all the time, man. We did AOKs, we did tag videos, we did want list videos, we showed our collections, and it wasn't always spec books, and it wasn't always big keys. It was, you know, Master X showing, you know, what he picked up from, you know, what awesome keys he found in a dollar bin at a random, you know, comic book store, Alex Comic Book Quarter, finding collections, or, you know, the 9.8 crew and all of them guys showing off what they found for cheap. That's the heyday of YouTube that I miss, is those days. And I know they're never coming back, and that's just the way it is, man. You know, it's just things come and go. So, but anybody that watches this and you want to make a tag video or a want list video, I highly encourage it. I think it's fun. It's a good way of streamlining your focus on your collection, and not just like me going out and buying random long boxes at the flea market every weekend. It really gives you something to kind of work towards. Plus, I need shit ton of supplies, and the money I'm spending at the flea market, I could already have all these boxed up, rebagged and boarded. I am so far behind on supplies, it's not even funny. So hopefully some people do these videos. I know my buddy Zach, Master X, you know, I know he'll do one. I'm tagging him, Tom Ryan, from Heroes to Icon. This is a few. Alex Comic Quarter, Tim the Comic Collector. He's a big DC guy. I'd love to see his list. Comic Quarter 410. I mean, some of the old school guys. Batcave Comics, please comes back and make some videos. But anybody that wants to make a video, please do. I love watching them. I spend most of my day watching YouTube comic book videos or Elden Ring videos. But yeah, enough rambling. I just want to get on here and post this. Tell you guys I'm alright. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I've struggled my whole life, and it is what it is, man. You know, just you have to get up every day and tuck your shirt in, pull your bootstraps up, and just, you know, go about your business and try to stay healthy. So anybody struggling with any kind of mental issues, I'm here for you to listen. So I know what you guys go through. Yeah, but stay strong, guys. Show off those collections. Keep showing those haul books. If you want to make a 2024 want list, I would be honored if you tag me and I could, you know, so that way I could see it and watch it. I love watching stuff like that, and I love watching people's progression through the year. I love when people come on and, you know, we used to get the list and be like, hey, I found these at the shop, or I found these at the flea market, or a comic, you know, eBay, and they would scratch off, and you could see the progression of their 2024 want list. I don't know, I get excited for other collectors when they complete some big goals that they had set for themselves. I think it's great. I think it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of determination to stay focused, because it is hard, because, you know, the comic book market is kind of coming down a little bit. You know, it's not as bad as it was during, you know, the you know, a couple years ago. So things are starting to come back down to earth. So I love when you guys show stuff you found on really cheap. So hopefully this will inspire some people to make a 2024 want list. And yeah, so subscribe, comment, like, follow, all that. I'll be making videos soon, guys. It's hard to stay away. I always say I'm gonna take breaks, but I just come in here and I'm like, man, I wanna make a freaking video. So it's hard. I don't know how often I'll upload. If I will the rest of the year, I might take the rest of the year off. I don't know. We'll see. And go subscribe to my wife. She's got a YouTube channel. She's showing off her favorite things in life, which is her rings and Starbucks and Bath and Body Works. Jessica James 07. So if you want to hop over there and give her a sub, tell her Junkie sent you. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, just to try to encourage her. I told her it's fun, so she tried it. She made a few shorts, and she likes it, but she doesn't know what to do, so I'm trying to give her ideas on what to do. So if you guys could run over there, give her a sub. She's got 2 now, so. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. It's a Junkie. Stay strong, stay positive, and get on those want lists, guys. It's 2024 is right around the corner, and I'm out. Peace.